All right, so we are doing a webinar simulcast in addition to the tweet up that's happening right now. And if you are also following along with the tweet up, why don't you go ahead and let me know in the chat box. I'm going to share my screen, and what I'm hoping will happen here is that we're going to see, let me see here. There we go. We're going to see my phone screen with Snapchat, and then we're also going to see the tweet up. So hopefully everybody can see that. I'm going to try and pull up the chat here so I know what people are saying. There we go. Following on both. So Victor's following on both. Scott's going to follow along on both. Hopefully you guys can see both the tweet up and also my Snapchat screen on my phone. This is the first time I'm using this program for a formal program to share my phone screen. So hopefully that is working out well for you. So what we're going to do today is kind of do a brief overview of Snapchat, and my goal for everybody is to have a better understanding of the Snapchat interface, because if you're new to Snapchat, if you've downloaded it before and you've created an account and opened the app, you may have realized that it's a little bit confusing to navigate around the Snapchat app. It's one of my biggest hesitations in using Snapchat is I have a hard time just wrapping my head around how to even navigate around Snapchat, because it's very different from other platforms like Facebook and Twitter. We're very accustomed to just opening those social media apps and then just scrolling down, right? So you can scroll down your Facebook news feed, you can scroll down your Twitter feed. Snapchat's a lot different. So also, why don't you guys, and feel free, please use the chat box, because I want this to be interactive. I want you guys to be able to ask me questions, and I want to address anything that you all want to learn about today with Snapchat. So also let me know if you are currently using Snapchat, and you can put your username in there as well, and hopefully we can all have a list of extension professionals who are using Snapchat, so we can follow each other as well. But let me know if you guys have any specific things that you want to learn about too, and we'll try to address those. So my computer is like in high drive right now. It's making a lot of noise. Hopefully you guys can't hear. My computer's fan is like on high drive. So we're going to jump right into Snapchat. I'm going to show you what the interface of Snapchat looks like, and show you just how to navigate around. Again, if you have questions at any time, please feel free to stop me. If I'm going too fast, again, please say that. Somebody said metrics, measure reach of stories. They're going to talk about that in the tweet up, so hopefully we can learn a little bit about how people are using Snapchat and measuring the analytics, because I know that there's not a ton of analytics that you can get from Snapchat. It's not as robust as other platforms like Facebook or Twitter or even Instagram. So again, keep those questions coming in. I'll try and keep my eye on that. I'll try and keep my eye also on the tweet up as we go along. But for now, I'm just going to kind of jump into to what Snapchat looks like. And here we go. So hopefully you guys can all see Snapchat. You can all see me on my phone. When you open the Snapchat app, the first thing you're going to see is how you take what's called a snap. And a snap is a photo or an up to 10-second video clip that you can draw on, you can put stickers on, you can put funny filters on. You may have seen people with different masks or filters on their face. And then you can choose to send those snaps to other people. You can also send them to what's called your Snapchat story. And story is a fairly new feature of Snapchat that allows you to create a curated story of different snaps. So it's sort of a chronological order of videos and photos that you've produced within the Snapchat application, and then it stays active for 24 hours. And after 24 hours, it disappears. You can also download your Snapchat story to your camera roll, so you can keep it and then post it on other platforms. We'll talk a little bit more about those features as we go on. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is just show you how to create your first snap. So I'm going to do my front-facing camera so you can see me. A lot of people do selfies on this because they have really fun filters that you can do. If I just press on my phone, I'm going to try and show you this as we go. If you just press on your phone and hold on somebody's face, it's going to automatically recognize that face. And you can scroll through all of these different fun filters. So now I'm a deer. This one actually has a voice changer. So if I choose to take a video of myself with this deer filter on and I'm talking, or there's music in the background, it's going to sound like really high-pitched, kind of funny sound. The dog one is very popular. If you stick out your tongue, it's going to have the dog tongue come out. You may have seen the flower crown filter before. So this is one of my favorites because it makes you look really pretty and like totally flawless. So Lori asked, how do you get the faces? So all you do is, if you're on your like front-facing camera, you can take a selfie. If you're looking at somebody else with your back-facing camera on your phone, all you do is press and hold on your phone screen on that person's face. So if I wanted to start over, it's not recognizing my face right now. I'm just going to literally press and hold. I can't really show you backwards. I'm just going to press and hold my face in the middle of my screen, and it'll automatically just recognize my face. Some people have gotten this to work with their cats and dogs and even other pets like reptiles, and they'll put a dog filter on their cat. I've never gotten it to work with my cats. It's like one of my biggest downfalls in Snapchat is I would love to put a dog filter on my cats, but I haven't been able to figure that out. And then again, you can just scroll through these different filters. It'll automatically, like, here's a, this makes me look really attractive. Here's a spider one, so I'm going to have a bunch of eyes, and there's spiders. There's different things you can do. Again, we're just going to do this flower crown one because it makes me look really good. Now you can do one of two things. You can take a photo, and to take a photo, I'm just going to click right in this main button that you see, it's sort of the button right above the X. I can just click that and take a photo, so I can pose, take a photo, and it's as simple as that. You can also take, if I'm going to X out of here in the upper left-hand corner, there's a little X. I can X out of that snap, and now I can take a video. So now if I press and hold that button down there in the very center bottom, and I move around, it's going to take an up to 10-second video clip. It will continue recording for up to 10 seconds for as long as you're holding that button down. As soon as you release that button, it's going to stop the video recording. So I'll show you how that works right now. I'm holding my thumb on that video or on that button. I can, do certain movements. I'm going to release it, and now it's showing my video that I just snapped of myself. Again, up to 10 seconds only, so it is sort of limiting. So I'm going to take a photo of myself right now. So that's my gorgeous Snapchat photo. And you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, there's a series of icons. There's a pair of scissors. There's a little, what looks like a Post-it note or a piece of paper. There's a T, and then there's a little pencil icon. Each one of these allows you to do different things on top of your photo or video that you've taken. So the scissors one is actually new. This is creating a sticker, what they call a sticker. And what I can do is trace around anything that's on my phone screen right now. So I'm going to trace around my face, and it uses its little smart technology, and it's going to cut my face out. And now my face is a sticker that I can put on this photo. I can put it on other photos. You can create stickers from literally anything that's on your phone screen. So if I click this little sticker button over here, you'll see my face in the upper left-hand corner is showing up. And now I can choose that again, and I can put my face by using my two fingers and just sort of scrolling through. I can put my face all over my phone screen, and I can keep doing this over and over. I could cut out any one of these flowers on the top of my head. I could do a sticker that way as well. If you want to delete any one of these things, you can just drag my face. So I'm just pressing and holding. I'm going to drag this up to the trash can and just release it. And then it's going to delete that sticker. So you can create your own stickers based on what's on your phone screen. But then if you just choose that sticker icon, which is up here in the upper right, you're going to have all of these different emojis and stickers that are already developed that you can also choose from. So here's one that looks like little glasses. I can choose that. I can scroll, and now I can put little star glasses on myself. If I don't like that, again, I can just press and hold and drag and drop it up to the trash can, and it disappears. And there is all sorts of fun stuff to choose from. You can scroll through the bottom here. There's different words. Some of these are kind of silly, like this one says probiotics. So I could put, oh, probiotics, they're so healthy for you. Oops, that's the timer. And I mean, you can just create whatever you want out of these snaps. It's kind of fun to play around with. The next icon over here on the upper right is a T. This is for text, and this allows you to write whatever you want on top of your snap. If you press the T once, notice you'll have a black bar, and you can put text in here. If you hit that T a second time, it's going to do left-aligned text, and if you hit it a third time, it'll do center-aligned text. And notice how on the right-hand side, you also have this nice little color bar. You can change the color just by scrolling your finger up and down that text box. So hopefully you can all see how I'm doing that on my phone. So I can change the color of that text, and then I can hit the done button on my phone, and now I can actually drag and drop that text wherever I want on my photo. So I can write whatever I want. If I hit that text button again, it's going to go back to that black bar up and down my screen and put it wherever I'd like. That's sort of the traditional Snapchat text that you've probably seen before. If I hit it again, it's going to automatically left align it. And if I hit it a third time, it's going to center align it. But then if I just take my fingers and make it bigger or smaller, I can put it anywhere I want. Hopefully that makes sense. If I want to delete it, I'm just going to go back in, hit the text, delete it, and then hit done, and now it's gone. So hopefully you guys are following along with me so far. The last thing that you can do, the last icon up here on the upper right, is a little pencil. This allows you to draw whatever you want. And what I'm realizing, again, I'm not a heavy Snapchat user myself, but I've been looking at different people to follow, and I'll show you some of those people here in a few minutes. One of the cool things that you can do is you can draw pictures. So Snapchat originally, when it really started to gain popularity, a lot of people were using it to create these like highly detailed, like artistic photos within the Snapchat app. And they were just doing this by like drawing, you know, I could trace the stripes in my shirt, or I could do, you know, whatever I wanted. I think I just sent that to my story by accident. Again, I'll show you stories in a bit. So you can do whatever you want on this photo. You can delete it by, there's a little delete button up here in the corner that you can see. You can change the color of whatever you're trying to do. You can draw really cool pictures, and people get like insanely detailed in some cases on what they can draw. It's amazing what people are producing. So once you have your snap the way that you like it, whether it's a video or a photo, you have a couple things that you can do. You'll notice there's a couple icons down in the lower left-hand corner. The first one is a timer. So anytime you send a snap to an individual person, somebody that you're connected with through Facebook, or if you want to send it to your story, you choose the amount of time that that snap will stay active. Now, Snapchat gained a lot of popularity early on because the content on Snapchat is ephemeral. It disappears. And that's why it was so popular with teenagers, because teenagers were producing sometimes inappropriate content and sending inappropriate content to their friends, and it was only staying active for 3 seconds or 5 seconds, and then it would disappear forever. So there was, obviously there was some benefit in that for young kids who didn't want their parents to see what they were doing. People did catch on and realize that you could send, or you could send somebody a snap and then take a screenshot of it, so it's not completely ephemeral. It doesn't completely disappear out of the realm of existence if somebody screenshotted it. I think now if you screenshot something in Snapchat, you actually get a notification that somebody took a screenshot of that, so you know exactly who has that content. So that first thing, again, down at the bottom left-hand corner is the timer. If I click that, I can choose to show this photo for 1 second all the way up to 10 seconds. And that's it. Once somebody views that photo, after, if I choose 5 seconds, after 5 seconds, it's going to disappear. And they're not going to be able to see it again. So that's sort of the appeal of Snapchat. Now, in, I think it was fall of 2013 or early 2014, they released what's called Snapchat stories. So you can now send stuff directly to your story, and you'll see there's another icon down here on the lower left. It's that third icon that says story. And I mentioned earlier, stories is sort of a curated list of snaps that you have selectively chosen to send to your story. They play in chronological order, and they only stay active for 24 hours. So let's say as an extension professional, you're going to a conference. You could create a whole Snapchat story during one of the days of your conference, and you can show different video clips of speakers. You can show different photos of other extension professionals that you're meeting, and you can save that to your story. And then you can also save that story to your camera or your phone's camera roll, so you have it and you could post it on other platforms as well. The other button that I skipped over is that save button. Here down in the lower left-hand corner, it's the middle one. If I hit save, this is actually going to save this in 2 places I have chosen, and that's based on your settings on your Snapchat account, and I'll show you how to get there as well later. This has been saved now to my Snapchat memories. And memories is sort of an archived list of snaps that I have chosen to save in my memories. I can go back now to any of those snaps, and I can resend them, I can re-edit them. It also saves to my phone's camera roll. So now I can upload it directly to Facebook or Instagram or any other platform, or it's just hanging out in my phone's camera roll forever until I decide to do something else with it. So it saves it in a variety of places. I'll show you Snapchat memories and how those work in a little bit. So if you have questions, we can do that as well. Now, the other button is the big blue button down in the lower right-hand corner. If I hit that, I have a couple different options here. The first one is sending the snap to my story. So again, that's what we just talked about. It'll send to my story where it will remain active for the next 24 hours. Or I can send it directly to somebody that I'm connected with on Snapchat. So I can scroll down here and I can say, well, I'm going to send this to my husband, Scott Wolf. I can click his name and it's going to send this picture to him. He's going to be able to view it for only 5 seconds because that's what I indicated. And then it will disappear and they won't be able to see it again. But again, it's saved to my memory. So I'm actually going to exit out of this. I'm not going to send it to anybody. So if I open up just the regular Snapchat app, you can see there's one down below at the very bottom. You can see my face, and it's actually my most recent snap that I have saved to memories. If I hit that button down there, this is where all of your memories are saved. And you'll see you have a couple different options. You have at the top right-hand menu, you have snaps that you've saved. I have Snapchat spectacles, which I will show you a little bit later what those spectacles are and what they can do. So anything that I import from my spectacles goes into my memories, and from there I can select them, I can edit them, write on them, put stickers on them, filters, whatever, and then I can choose to send those video clips either to individuals or send them to my story. And then I can also access my phone's camera roll. So I can actually choose any photo that I have taken, and again, you'll just see hundreds of photos of my son. I can choose any of these video clips or photos of my son, and I can choose to edit those and send those as a video clip. So I don't have to have actually taken the snap in Snapchat. I can access my phone's camera roll. And that's a fairly newer feature too, which is actually a really nice feature of Snapchat because it just offers a lot of other possibilities. So that is memories. The next thing I'm going to show you is Snapchat stories, and then I'm going to show you a little bit about how to add friends and how to get to your account settings and things like that. So you'll see there's a button that's sort of a purple circle with 3 white dots in it on the lower right-hand corner of my screen. If I select that, this is my Snapchat stories. So you'll see I have different friends here that have stories that you can view. And then there's also featured stories. So I'm going to show you featured stories first. These are stories that are made up of curated content from large media or content producers. So you'll see BuzzFeed has one, NFL, Tastemade, Daily Mail, Cosmopolitan, has all these different things. And I can click on any one of these. So I can click on, let's say, which one's going to be most appropriate? Sometimes the content isn't entirely appropriate that you might be seeing. Let's do Food Network. So I can click on the Food Network one, and it's going to show me a story that Food Network has produced. And I can click through here. As I click through on my phone screen, it'll automatically go on to the next snap. And there's going to be, I don't know what this is saying, something about sugar. But you can just kind of click through here. This is an advertisement that you're seeing right now. Notice how in the bottom right-hand corner of my phone screen, it's saying ad. So you will see ads pop up in some of these stories. But this is a really cool way that we as extension professionals can use Snapchat, is we can create curated content through the use of Snapchat stories. And if you have enough followers, it could be a really cool way to distribute educational content. So I can just snap or click through all of these. Eventually it'll be over, or I can just, so that's way too. Again, I just scroll down here, you'll see all these different things that you can access. One of the really cool Snapchat is into your Snapchat app and you looked at featured stories, you would know that there was a story all about Christmas morning, people waking up on Christmas morning and on Christmas gifts and creations. And if you click on that, Snapchat pulled in people from all over the world and created this like Snapchat story of people all the way from Australia to the UK to different states in the US, South Africa. And it was like this really cool, like globally curated content about Christmas. They did that on New Year's Eve as well. They also, because it's such a popular time of year for people to get engaged, they did a whole story on engagements that were happening on Snapchat. So all of these snaps, snap videos that people had taken, Snapchat was pulling those into one big global story. So you could see all these people getting engaged and the excitement around that. So it's kind of a neat thing that Snapchat does. They tend to do that a lot for large events. So they probably did that around the election. They probably will do something similar maybe around inauguration in a couple weeks. They do it around large sporting events or concerts. So you can see different people's perspectives of that event happening, which is a really cool thing. But if we scroll back up, you'll see recent updates. Here is a list of, I have 5 people that I can view any one of their Snapchat stories. Some of these people are folks who their primary job is producing content for Snapchat. They get paid loads of money for Snapchat, and I've chosen to look at their Snapchat story and see what it looks like. So I've not looked at these before. Hopefully they are appropriate. This is somebody who draws. So this is somebody who actually drew these images directly in the Snapchat app. That was just one little snap that he put in his story. I'm going to go to this next one over here. This guy is a calligrapher, and you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, as we look at these snaps, there's a little circle. It's sort of that's the timer. Here's a snap of his cat jumping through a hula hoop. And if I get bored, like if any one of these seems a little bit too long and I don't want to watch the whole snap, another one of his cat, I can just touch the screen and it's going to automatically go to the next snap in that story. So I don't have to sit here for the full 10 seconds or 5 seconds and look at it. I can just quickly snap through all of those different things. So this is what your Snapchat story looks like. It plays as a one long video clip. Again, this guy's a calligrapher, so here's him doing some calligraphy work, which is kind of neat to watch. And if we go through some of these, I bet we'll see the final product eventually. So really cool things that you can do in Snapchat, and really cool things that you can do with your Snapchat story. So I encourage you to check that out if you haven't already. And keep in mind, because you can access stuff within Snapchat on your phone's camera roll, you can actually create like content prior to going into Snapchat. You can create some really cool things and have those in your phone's camera roll, and then pull those into Snapchat and pull them into a curated story. So you can produce some really high quality stuff that way. And I do see a question, can only one person be logged into a Snapchat account? Yeah, so as far as I know, there's no way for like an individual to create like a business Snapchat account. Whereas with Facebook, you have Facebook pages, right? So you can have multiple administrators on one Facebook page, even though individuals are using their individual Facebook accounts. With Snapchat, I do not think there is anything like a business page or a business account. We can look into that. I can talk to Jamie and Paul, who are bigger Snapchat users than myself, and they may know of a solution around that. But as far as I know, it's only going to be your account. So what you can do is you can create sort of a dummy account where you're giving everybody the same login information. It wouldn't be a dummy account per se. It would be your extension account, but everybody would have access to the same username and password. But then you wouldn't be able to access it simultaneously. You would have to access it individually at different times, if that makes sense. So I feel like I've been talking a lot. Are there any questions that anybody has so far about creating a snap or sending it to an individual or sending it to your stories or saving a memory? Then I'll continue.
I was to say, you were definitely on a roll there. You have been talking a lot, but it's all great. I did have a quick question. Can you show us how to access photos that are on your camera roll and then do stuff with them?
Yeah, so to access cameras on your camera roll, you would go into memories. And again, when you're looking at my phone screen here, you see the big round button. That is the button that you press to take a photo or video. Right below that, there's another little circle, and you can see my face in there. That is my most recent memory that I've saved. So you would just press that, And I think also you literally can just, yeah, you can just swipe up from the bottom of your phone. So you just use that swipe up, and I don't know if you guys could see that well.
Oh, yeah.
There's some other things. There you go. So again, this is why Snapchat, the interface is a little bit difficult to learn because you're swiping left and right and up and down, which is very different than with a lot of other social media platforms. So to access your phone's camera roll then, you have these different options on top, one of which should be camera roll. And if you select that camera roll on the far right, you can access any of the photos or videos on your camera.
Okay.
And then I would just literally, like, here's a photo of my son. I'm going to select that one. If I press and hold down on it, you'll see there's a little pen button down to the upload next to the trash can. If I hit that button right there, I don't know why it's taken, okay, because Snapchat is portrait mode, that's why. So keep in mind that because Snapchat, I have no way of like turning this photo.
Crop, yeah, you can't really, or I don't know if you can crop or do, but yeah.
Yeah, so you might have to only use photos that you've taken in portrait mode or photos that would make sense to use this way. And then the other cool thing is when you're editing a snap directly from your memories function, notice how up here at the top you have this fifth icon. It's a paintbrush. And I just learned this today. There's a paintbrush option. You can actually apply a filter over your whole photo. So I can, this picture of my son, I can make him look like a Christmas cross stitch or an embroidery, which is kind of funny. And you can scroll through this list of filters and look at different things that you can do here. This is not an option outside of the memories function as far as I've been able to find. So kind of neat things there. Yeah. I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm going to hit the done button. I'm going to discard those changes, and then I'm just going to scroll out of here. So again, I encourage you to just get into the Snapchat interface and swipe around and learn Snapchat that way. So somebody asked, creating a story with more than one snap, can you review that quickly? Yeah, so your stories, literally all you would do is when you create your individual snap. So let me just take a picture here of, I don't know where my camera went. There we go. So if I take, here's a deer photo. So I'm going to take that photo. You can put whatever stickers or text or whatever on it, and then you can either hit that story button down at the bottom left-hand corner, or you can go to send to and then hit the story, which is at the very top of my screen, or the very top of my list, I should say. That's going to automatically send that to my story. Just to do multiple snaps, all you would do is the next time you create a snap that you want to send to your story, you would do the exact same thing. And it would send that story or that snap directly to your story. And then they play in chronological order. Again, only for up to 24 hours though. So you have to keep that in mind. So it's as easy as that. You can just pick and choose. You do not have to send anything to your story. And you certainly don't have to send everything. So you can pick and choose your favorite content to include as part of your daily story. So did that answer your question, Lori? Okay. Any other questions about anything we've gone over so far? I know that was sort of a quick overview. There will be, Jamie and Paul do a really great job of putting together a sort of a snapshot review of the tweet up. So we haven't done a great job of following along with the questions in the tweet up unless you've been on it on your own and following along. But I know that they had some great questions lined up for the tweet up today about how extension professionals are currently using Snapchat, some ideas for what you can do to create content. And I know that they have a question later on, hopefully, that they'll get to about how do you do analytics in Snapchat. I am not 100% certain, again, because I'm not a big Snapchat user myself. I'm not exactly sure how analytics work beyond just getting the numbers for like how many people viewed your story. I don't know if there's any more really robust way of getting analytics, but hopefully that will come out at some point. And we can see how other people are handling that, because obviously that analytics, seeing that impact and how many people are viewing our story or how they're using it is important for the work that we do here in Extension. So if there's no more questions about anything that I've gone over so far, I'm going to exit out of here, and I'm going to hit the ghost button at the very top of my screen. And if I hit that ghost button, or if you just scroll down, you'll see this is my profile, this is what's called my Snapcode, this yellow box with a ghost in it. This is how you find people to follow on Snapchat, or how you actually follow people on Snapchat. And I see people are adding me, so that's awesome. Hopefully I'll start to create more awesome Snapchat content for you all if you're going to start following me. There's a couple different things that you can see here. You can see who has added you. Scott just added me. So you can see who has added you. You can add friends, and you can look at your current list of friends. So we're going to hit the Add Friends button here. And there's a couple different ways that you can find people to add. You can add somebody directly by their username. So if you know what username they're using, you simply type that in and it will find them. Keep in mind when you create your Snapchat account, for those of you who are brand new to Snapchat, you cannot change your Snapchat username. Once you have selected that, you cannot change it ever currently. That might be a feature that they change in the future. With Facebook, you can change your name every so often. With Twitter, you can change your Twitter handle or username at any time. But with Snapchat, you are stuck on your username forever as it currently stands. The second option down here is Add from Contacts. So if I hit Add from Contacts, the first thing I will see is Snapchatters in my contacts. So these are people that my phone knows based on their contact information that I have saved in my phone. These are people who are currently using Snapchat. They have an account developed, they have the app on their phone, and they are using it. So I can scroll down here and see and add any one of these people. The second list I see now is Add by Phone Number. So these are people that are not currently using Snapchat, but I can invite any of these people to use Snapchat. So I can just hit that invite button, and they would get some sort of invite, either maybe by their email. I don't know if they would get something to their phone number or not, or how that would work. But you're essentially saying, hey, you might be interested in using Snapchat. I'm on Snapchat. If you want to download the app and create an account, you can follow me. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I've never used that feature. So if you go back, the third option down here to add friends, this one is really cool. This is Add by Snapcode. So I'm going to select that. It's going to open up your camera's roll. And number one, see how that snap that I saved earlier to memory? See how it's saved in my camera roll to that first photo that you see? This second photo that you see is a photo that I took earlier this afternoon of somebody's Snapcode. If I open that up, for some reason this isn't working, I already added her, but it's going to scan that Snapcode and it will automatically add that person as my friend. So that's a really cool thing that you can do if you're out and about and maybe you don't want to have to open up Snapchat, but you see somebody's Snapcode and you're like, oh, I want to follow that person. You could simply take a photo of their Snapcode with that. The other thing that you can do is if you just have, I'm going to see, all right, so I'm going to try something here. I'm going to look for somebody's Snapcode. I'm going to open up, Safari. I'm going to look for somebody's Snapcode. Here's Ariana Grande. Again, this is just for pure example. So I'm going to go back to my phone here. I'm going to open up my Snapchat. I'm going to press and hold on her Snapcode. And notice how I can now add her as a friend just by viewing that directly in Snapchat. So it's a really cool way to add followers or to add friends. And I do not want to actually add her, so we're going to go back this way. But that's a really cool thing to do, and I see a lot of applications for this. Let's say, for example, you are at let's say an extension conference. Think about, if a lot of people start using Snapchat, you could have everybody's Snap code on their name badge, and we could add followers just by opening up Snapchat and then looking at their name badge that way. So that could be a really cool way of connecting with people during a conference live. So if we go back to add friends, add by snap code we did, add nearby, if you want to select that, you can turn on your location preferences, and then you can add people who might be nearby to you. I'm going to do not now. And then you can also share your own username out on a variety of platforms. So you could message it to somebody, post it on Facebook or Twitter, any one of those options. And that will just allow you to share your Snapchat username with other people. Notice how down here at the very bottom, there's a quick add to. These are people that Snapchat is suggesting I might know based on who I'm already friends with. So I can look at that list of people and see, oh yeah, you know, I do know that person. Kelsey Hedrick is the wife of the brother of one of my best friends. So I don't know her well, but I know of her, so I could add her if I wanted to. If I go back to this screen, you'll notice I have some more options here. I can look at my friends, and this is just my current list of friends that I have. Now you might notice some people have just these generic ghost icons as their profile image, and other people have these really cool like moving images where they're doing like really cool things with their face or their profile. If you create a new Snapchat account, or at any time, you can change your Snapcode icon, the profile image that shows up, by simply pressing and holding on the ghost here. And it's going to pop up this image. And if I press this white button, it's going to take 5 consecutive photos. So you can make a funny face, you know, a couple of different funny faces, and then it's going to create like a GIF, an animated little video of the different movements that you're making. You can do it of your own face, you can do it of a pet or your child, you can do whatever you want with it. But it's just going to be this like little animated GIF of you or whatever you choose. So I am not going to do that now. The other thing I will show you is at the very top of this screen, you'll see this little trophy icon. If you select that, you earn different trophies by doing things in Snapchat. Notice how I do not have very many trophies, again, because I'm not a huge user myself. So I received a trophy today because I scanned 5 snap codes of other people. I also paired my spectacles a couple weeks ago when I got my spectacles, so I got a trophy for that. So these are just silly. They don't mean anything. You don't get anything out of them. It's just something that you can collect as you go along. And I see another question come through. Is the Snapcode QR code technology, or is the code recognizable just with a phone camera? The code is not recognizable just with your phone camera. It's recognizable only within the Snapchat app, I believe. So I don't think that you can like open a QR code reader and read that snap code, if that makes sense. So what are spectacles? Scott asked, what are spectacles? You guys ready to move on to spectacles? Because these are fun. So Snapchat spectacles, these were just released earlier a couple months ago, late 2016. Snapchat spectacles are sunglasses that you wear that you can take up to 10-second video clips with. So in order to do that, I'm just going to throw on my spectacles now, and there's a little button up here. I'll show you if you can see that at the very top on the left-hand side of the sunglasses. If I hit that button, I can take up to 10-second video clips. If I hit it twice, I can take 20-second video clips. And if I press it 3 times, I can take up to 30-second video clips. When those video clips import into Snapchat, they import into 10-second segments. Because again, the longest video you can send to Snapchat is 10 seconds. Or send to your story or send as a snap to an individual is 10 seconds. You can import those snaps, those videos that you take with your spectacles onto your phone's camera roll, and from there you can create longer videos with them. I have pulled them into other like iMovie and done like some editing, and I've done strings of different things. If I want to take a video, again, I just press this button and you should see a little LED light. Yep, you see that, a little LED light swirling. So right now I am literally taking a 10-second video clip. And I also see a little light inside of my glasses, so I know when the video is, when it's recording, and also it'll start to flash when it's about to stop recording. So now that video clip that I just took is going to import into my Snapchat account. It takes a few seconds for that to happen. And then I can send it as a snap. I can write on it, I can edit it, put those stickers on it and text and do whatever. And I can send it to my story or send it to an individual. And it's just like creating a snap. But the cool thing is it's from first person perspective. So I see a couple questions come through. Miles asks, why would I use this as so why would you use the spectacles specifically? Is that what you're asking? If you're asking about spectacles specifically, one of the biggest applications for these is you're creating videos from the first person perspective. This just stopped sharing, so I'm going to bring up my phone again so you have access to that. Bear with me for just 1 second. There we go. I have to keep my phone active, otherwise the mirroring is going to disconnect again. So again, this creates video from the first person perspective. So as a community development educator, I mean, you can think about the types of programs that you might be offering, and is there something unique that you could do from the first person perspective? I see we could do videos, I see some applications in like agriculture and natural resources or gardening. You could show people how to go out and scout for certain insects in the field, and you can show them from like the first person perspective how you would go through with sweep nets in a field and sweep for certain insects. If you were an FCS educator, you might show people tutorials on how to do certain how to can, for example, or how to cook a certain recipe, and you would actually like have your hands, you know, in the video showing people how to do something. One of the things that I did when I first got my spectacles was I created a little video series of me making sugar cookies, and I was just icing the sugar cookies, and it was just like a very quick video clip of you know, showing people how I was icing my sugar cookies. So it was kind of silly, but I think that there might be some applications for it. If you're actually showing people like tutorials or how-to videos, we could create some pretty cool stuff with the spectacles. There are obvious limitations. One of the biggest limitations is, of course, your video clips are 10 seconds, which of course isn't very long. Other limitations is that the video quality is not super high quality yet. Hopefully with the coming renditions of these glasses and different upgrades, hopefully the video quality will enhance. Hopefully we'll have the ability to create clips that are longer than 10 seconds. But the technology is kind of neat. And you know, Google Glass came out a couple of years ago. It never took off. People were always really nervous about the use of Google Glass because they felt like it impeded on people's privacy because you never knew if or when somebody was recording you. So one of the things that I mentioned before is there's an LED light that shows when you are recording. So theoretically, anybody around you should know. I have seen little stickers for sale that people are putting on this little lens up here so that it blocks that LED ring, so you would not know if somebody's recording. Most of how I'm seeing spectacles being used right now is like things like extreme sports. So people are going out and skiing or snowboarding, or even not so extreme, but even just sled riding. And they're showing this from this first person perspective, which can be kind of a neat perspective to show a video from. So they're kind of neat. They're very hard to get right now. The only way that you can purchase spectacles is by going to New York City. They have what's called a little pop-up shop. And the pop-up shop is only open through February 19th as of right now. And you actually purchase these through a little vending machine. You have to get in line. There's a whole ticketing process. Otherwise, if you want to know where else you can find Snapchat spectacles, I'll show you here on my screen if you can see this. They just dropped what's called a Snapbot. The Snapbot is what they call their vending machine unit. They just dropped one in Las Vegas about 45 minutes ago at 2 p.m. Eastern time. This dropped in Las Vegas, and it will be here until they sell out, which normally happens within just an hour or two, depending on where it drops. They've dropped these Snapbots all over the country now. They dropped one in like the Louisiana Bayou a couple of weeks ago. They have dropped them at, well, I think Rose Bowl. So they've done different things to get people interested in getting these Snapchat spectacles. So some other questions. What is that pink icon next to the right of your username? It's a great question that I honestly don't know. So I see what you're talking about. There's like there's the number 17, which I think how many people I'm friends with or followers I have, and then there's a little icon. I literally have no idea what that means. That is something I will have to look at. Daphne said she doesn't have that icon. I don't know what that means. I will have to look at that and see what I can find out about that. And some other people, what are the user demographics available for Snapchat users? So average age, education level, who are we most likely to reach? Right now, I know off the top of my head, the biggest demographic is that sort of middle school, high school, college, up to about, I think, 34-year-olds. I just read something this morning that I think it was 40% of people from like 18 to 34, maybe it was younger than that even, are using Snapchat. In fact, the White House just created a Snapchat account, and they're going to start distributing Snapchat stories. They just created that this month. They joined Snapchat. So within the last couple of days, because they recognize that they want to reach that younger demographic. So there are some demographics that you can look at. If you go to Pew Research Center, they just released their new social media statistics as of, I think they conducted it in 2016. So I think they would have been as of probably early 2016 data. Snapchat was not pulled out as a unique social media platform. It was included with other messaging apps, which included things like WhatsApp and like I think iMessage on your iPhone. So you're going to have to take a look at Pew Research Center and look at that. Hopefully with like next year, Pew Research Center will do a better job of actually pulling Snapchat apart. I will say I've read statistics, I don't know them off the top of my head, but Snapchat is growing like exponentially. Sorry, my sister-in-law keeps adding me to Facebook groups. Snapchat is growing exponentially. So there are tons of users, there are tons of snaps being sent every single day. But the demographic tends to be that younger generation of people. It was sort of formed as like their platform to use. You know, these middle schoolers and high schoolers who are like, oh, you know, my parents are now on Facebook, so I need my own platform separate from them. And that's why Snapchat is really, really popular with that group. So a couple other questions I see here. Not followers, some sort of activity metric. Michelle Obama does have a Snapchat account. I've been following her. She hasn't posted any stories, so hopefully she'll start doing that. Purple icon is your designated zodiac sign and came with the new Snapchat update if you have your birth date. Oh, that makes total sense. Yeah, it's Pisces. So yeah, that's my zodiac sign. So just something that they, are put on there. Also, Scott said, I'm seeing online that the Snapchat spectacles are $225 a pair. Yeah, so I'm embarrassed to admit that I got these ones on eBay because I was just like, I have to have them. And like, I have so many ideas for things that I want to do. Mostly I want to take videos of my son. And his birthday was just before Christmas. And then of course Christmas. So I had all these things that I wanted to do. So I got these on eBay for $240. They retail at $130. So I paid way more than I probably should have for them. I'm not proud to admit that. I did find a pair on eBay. I bought a pair for Jamie Sager for our ed tech unit. So I bought them through work and I found them for $150 on eBay just 2 weeks later. So I have not found any that cheap again, but I was able to buy a legit pair. It was one of the coral pairs. Scott said, feel free to buy a pair for him. If you are interested and you're actually like following along on some different eBay things, you might be able to find some for cheaper than $240. I would not recommend paying that much for them. So let me bring my phone screen back up if I can. Any other questions that you guys have? We're already at 2:50. Unfortunately, we haven't talked too much about what's happening on the tweet up, and I haven't been able to follow along with that. So I'm going to bring my phone back here. So any other questions? Snapbot, there was a Snapbot in Austin recently, yes, at Torchy Tacos, which was like a taco truck. Anyone know of any universities using this to reach alumni as a target audience? I don't know. That's a really good question. We can look at what people on the tweet up are saying. I know one of the early questions on the tweet up was going to be who's using it and how are they using it. So again, you might want to kind of sift through what's happening on the tweet up if you have a Twitter account. Even if you don't have a Twitter account, you can log on or just go to twitter.com and search for the hashtag EdTechLN and see how people are using it. Victor's saying that they're using it for recruitment purposes. If anybody else has any ways that they know that Extension is using it or universities are using this, feel free to post that. I don't know of anything off the top of my head. And again, it's simply because I'm not a huge Snapchat user myself. So I have not really dug into a lot of those different things. Jamie and Paul use Snapchat quite a bit. Jamie Seger here from Ohio State and Paul Hill from Utah. So they might have some ideas about what's going on. She adds me to one more group. So any other ideas about Snapchat spectacles, or Scott said they're selling for up to $4,500 on eBay. I have seen some listed for that much. I don't know why anybody in their right mind would pay $4,500 when you can get them for $200 or less on eBay. I've been waiting for a Snapbot to come to Ohio, but that has not yet happened. Closest one to me was by Penn State. One of the Penn State regional campuses got a Snapbot nearby them. So geofilters for 4-H events. Yeah, so geofilters was one thing I didn't mention. That was the one thing I wanted to talk about. So here, if you can see my phone screen again, this is the last formal thing I will do, and then we can just have a discussion for the rest of the time. So if I need to stop Facebook. I wish these notifications would stop. So if I take a photo of myself, again, I'm just going to hold on my face. I'm going to take a cutesy photo of myself here. Now, if you simply just swipe across your phone screen, hopefully you can see this, you're going to get some geofilters pop up. The first one that pops up for me is Worcester, Ohio, which is where I live. So this is a geofilter that's been created by somebody, or maybe even just by Snapchat. And it allows me to just put my location that I'm physically in right now on top of my Snap. And I don't think I showed any of these earlier, right? You can scroll through what some of these are. This shows the time. This shows your altitude. This shows the temperature. And this one has gotten people into a lot of trouble. I don't know why it's saying I was going almost a mile per hour, but this is your miles per hour. So this one, you may have seen big news stories where people have been driving in their car. They're trying to take a snap of themselves going 100 miles per hour or 120 miles per hour. And they try and get that speedometer up there. Obviously, that's really unsafe. Please don't do that. If you're a passenger in a car, fine, go ahead. But that is your miles per hour filter. And then there's just some like generic filters on here too. So there's like black and white, and then a couple other different options that you can just scroll through and then back to the original photo. So you can actually create a filter. We did this for the first time at our Extension annual conference back in December. We worked with somebody here at Ohio State. One of our educators developed a filter to use for our Extension annual conference. So it had the dates on there, and it had like the name of our conference and the theme. And then we encouraged people to use that and take snaps of themselves at annual conference, showing that filter was on their snaps. So sort of a cool thing to do. That is a feature that you have to pay for, and it's based on the physical, like, geographic area that you want it to be available for. So ours was just available if you were in the Ohio Union, which was where the conference was being held. So you could do this and just have it available at a specific hotel. You would pay by, I think they pay by like square footage almost. So that's an option too that you can look into. And if you have questions about that, you can contact us, or Jamie knows how to go through that process. Paul has probably done it before, and we'd be happy to help you figure that out as well. So PA is doing geofilters for the first time, conference this month. Yeah, I can't wait to see how the teams react to it. That's pretty cool. So, and you can create filters for anything. Like you could do like if you were having a Cloverbud camp, or Cloverbuds might be a little young, but if you were doing some sort of 4-H camp, you might be able to create a filter specifically for that, and then have that available to your teens. And then it's another way for them to get involved with the Extension. So we only have 5 minutes left. Any other questions that you guys have about Snapchat? Again, I encourage you to look through the tweets that are happening right now with the tweet up. Jamie and Paul are currently in Las Vegas. They're going to the Consumer Electronics Show, so hopefully they'll have some pretty cool stuff to report back from that event, and then they will get together and do a whole recap of the tweet up that will be available on the EdTech LN blog. So if you're interested in going back and actually looking at the conversation that's happening on the tweet up right now, how people are using it, who to follow, I encourage you to check that out as well.
April asked about the recording. April, I was actually just about to email you when I saw your question on, so you must have joined us here just late. Yes, but to answer your question, I am recording this. It'll be available at the Learn event, which I'll go ahead and put in chat once more. It'll be available at the Learn event that I just put in chat. Within a couple of days, I'll probably process the video this afternoon or tomorrow, and we'll get it on the YouTube channel and have a link at that Learn event.
All right. Does anybody have any final questions before we wrap it up? Well, if you do, feel free to reach out to myself or Jamie Sager or Paul Hill. Again, they're using Snapchat quite a bit. And connect with us on Twitter or Snapchat or any other means that you can track us down. And we'd be happy to help you out however we can.
Okay, Danae, thank you. This has been fun. This is, I think this. I originally started using Snapchat at the E-Extension conference last year. I think Jamie and Paul did a presentation. That's when. But events like this are kind of the only time I use Snapchat. But I need to start using it more though. But you taught me the stickers. I actually didn't know how to do the create your own sticker thing. So that was, maybe I'll do some fun things with that.
Yeah, it's a new feature. It's kind of fun to play around with.
Yeah. Okay. All right, great. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.